Hi, I'm Jason Grayston, and this is my summary of learning for ECI 831. ECI 831 is all about social media and open education. I've always been a really open person with other staff members about what I'm doing in the classroom, and I've always relied heavily on the internet for inspiration in what I'm doing with students. But I haven't been the best of sharer, and I think this class has really provided me with some inspiration to share more of the things that I learn with colleagues and develop a personal learning network beyond what I have in my own school. We were joined by Dr. Richard Schweer, who spoke to us about virtual learning communities. Dr. Richard Schweer is one of my profs at the University of Saskatchewan in my educational technology and design degree, and I was really impressed to see him speak on the idea of community and what it means to him and what it potentially could mean to us. What I take away from the discussion on community is that community online really reflects what we're doing face to face. We have a need to connect with other people, and people by nature are very supportive. My challenge as a high school teacher will be to show students how they can grow their own personal learning networks and develop their own sense of community online. The media tends to focus on the negative consequences of social media on young people these days. I think it's a great challenge to find a way to have young people engage positively and share in a way that's going to enhance their experience online. This is a great segue into Sue Waters joining us to talk to us about edublogging. One of the projects that I started was to build blogs for my students and have them start to write about certain topics. And Sue Waters was very influential in how that was set up. I started using edublogs instead of Blogger with my homeroom. Sue really was a great help in getting everything set up and coaching me on how I could get students more interested in blogging and improving their writing. The next step I'd like to take in blogging with students is to have them begin to comment on each other's work and to kind of ease them into growing their own personal learning network amongst their peers, and then hopefully over time grow that towards people in other classes and people outside of the school. This is going to be a 4-year project ongoing as I have these students in my homeroom for the next 3.5 years. Dr. George Siemens joined us from the University of Athabasca to talk about how higher education will change. Open online courses, social media, open education resources, they make it possible for anyone to take their learning further. Public education will also have to take a good look at how open education and the internet are going to influence how we deliver a quality education to students, and how students are going to become more and more a part of determining their own educational directions. Dr. Alec Kuro spoke to us about networked and connected learning in one of his sessions. What really strikes me about networked and connected learning is the idea that we can have an idea, put it together into some kind of packaging, and then throw it out there, and people will respond. People will respond for the most part positively and give us a hand. Many people will also ask questions and try to push our understanding of what we're trying to do even further. Some may even try to collaborate or open the door for even greater understanding to happen. We saw examples of how students are starting to connect to learn new things. My daughter, at the age of 7, loves to draw, and she showed me one day how she was drawing My Little Pony figures while looking at YouTube videos on how to construct the characters. And I was blown away by her discovery and really encouraged her afterwards to continue doing so. We met Sylvia Martinez, who is so passionate about the maker movement and what it can do in the classroom. This is the idea of taking many different electronics and gadgets and experimenting and putting things together, and it just looks like kids of all ages love to do these things. Now I'd like to see what I can do with maker type activities in my art room and combine science with art. What struck me about the maker movement is that it's not about protecting any ideas. It's about sharing and learning from each other. And I found that to be a real inspiration at this point in the course. and started to think about more along the lines of how I could contribute more. As people become more connected and start to share more and more of their ideas, there is a need for people to be responsible when online. There's a lot of negativity out there. I wonder how I can develop my students' sense of belonging on the internet and have them feel like they are welcome there, and also to have them participate positively. I've begun modeling positive behavior through the blog that I created for this class, and I also have students working on learning portfolios and having them comment and critique on their classmates' work. It's my hope that through these positive interactions with each other that they will develop a better sense of citizenship when being online. Alan Levine of Cogdog Blog is a super passionate man about storytelling. His exploration of how to tell stories using digital media inspired me to try to find a new way to work on this presentation. Although we've been using our personal devices for building our learning portfolios, taking photos of the work that we've been doing, I would think it would be a wonderful idea to actually engage in some storytelling around the art projects that my students are created. And I am looking forward to using some of the tools that Alan talks about on his blog to do so. I haven't given open education much thought before this class. Dr. Kouros introduced us to the idea that education should be free and open to everyone. That as an educator, it is my responsibility to share what I'm doing with others so that everyone may benefit. I'm starting to think that with this level of understanding, if more people were engaged in open education, we would solve many of the world's problems by providing the masses with good, solid foundations that would allow them to make better decisions for our world, rather than decisions based on just money making and personal gain. Dr. David Wiley shows us that open education is possible. Schools can be built without bricks and mortar. People can join to learn from all parts of the world. Teachers can share resources openly and easily. Changing the copyright licensing associated with any educational resources makes them available to anyone to modify, to use, and to share. So what have I learned from this class? I've learned too much to put into practice in a short amount of time. But the ideas that are here will be with me for the rest of my career, and I hope to implement many of them as time goes by. I'll start, though, with the greatest lesson I've learned so far. The internet is not such a scary place after all, and sharing is a lot easier than I originally thought. I'm definitely benefiting from all the people that interact with me online and in real life, and this has been a marvelously enriching experience, and I hope to continue to work in this way throughout my career. Thank you.